Part two, because I'm just going to continue with this and I'm just going to move on. So we talked about part one was creating an identity of yourself based off of an ideology. Is that your identity is no longer yourself. Your identity is the ideology that you so support. Problem two is the discussion topics themselves, not only now a part of you, but we are now blurring the line between morality and politics. Nothing about politics should ever be considered a conversation regarding morality. When in the history of politics have we ever began to intertwine morality and politics? Policy, legislation cannot affect a moral happenstance in practical life. You cannot legislate out behavior. You cannot legislate out immorality or morality. What you can do is identify what may be in your society considered moral and immoral, and set up a system of laws in a republic like the United States, a rule of law that you live by, saying that you cannot impact another person's life negatively, and they have rights that protect them from you. That's negative rights. They call those negative rights. And those rights basically say that these people, when they were originally written, the Bill of Rights were originally written, they were there to protect the populace from the government. They were there to say that we understand that governments tend to lean towards tyranny. So we're going to set these rights up to say that you have the freedom of speech, that no one can infringe upon. Okay? Listing down the Bill of Rights, you will see that that is the pattern. Is that saying that this person cannot do this to you. It's not saying that they have to do this for you, or that you have to do something for them. That's when you get into the realm of positive rights, and that could be a really good discussion. And I definitely want to talk about that at some point, but I feel like I need to reflect on that a little bit more before I can actually start just spitting things out, because I'm already doing this and I'm realizing it's probably not the best idea. Anyway, back to what I was saying. We're mixing politics with morality. And when you have a discussion about morality, you are then using your own moral compass and what you perceive as the morals of the culture that you have lived in, that you have experienced, that has built and shaped you. Those are your morals. And when you have a discussion with someone about morals, it tends to get a little emotional, absolutely, because it is morality and it's an important conversation to have. But again, politics, government, policy, legislation should never in any way get involved and intertwine itself with the essence of morality. Because man himself cannot govern himself. So who's to say that you make laws as a mortal being? Who says that you will make those laws and those laws are absolute as a moral perspective and as a mortal being? You are saying now that you transcend morality because you're the ones who setting the laws for the morality. But that's what our forefathers realized, is that no, there are laws of nature. And nature's God constructs these laws, and through the pen, those laws of nature must be translated respectively, into a rule of law to develop a republic where the people live by a rule of law and they don't live by the rule of the masses, which is a democracy. And democracy, I think, to understand democracy to understand democracy appropriately leads you down the path of the understanding that pure democracy, true democracy, is tyranny. It's a disaster. True democracy is a disaster. That is the ruling of the masses. That is trial by public opinion. And we don't want that. I don't think any society wants that. I'm getting off topic here again. But I think we've gotten to the point where morality, which is a part of your moral compass, which is a part of your being, a part of your identity, politics has now intertwined itself there. So now anytime you have a conversation about morality, politics gets brought into the discussion. Then you start debating party lines over a moral issue. Because you're blocking the ability for people to agree. Because when you start talking about issues that impact true morality, most people are going to fall in line with your way of thinking. Some people may not. But I'm sure the majority of people that you have discussions with regarding moral decisions tends to line up. Take the Ten Commandments, for example. I think majority of people are on board with that. Let's not do the whole murder thing, okay? Let's not covet someone else's possessions, or I don't know. It almost feels like we have, and because I think, could we say that we're all complicit in a way, but also at the same time, is it necessarily our fault? I think we need to be careful with that distinction. What do we need to do to get out of that? And before we have a discussion, from this point forward, we should be addressing it directly, right up front. This is a discussion about morality and politics. Leave it at the door. But we have forgotten that separation. And that's part 2, and then I'll get to part 3. So, let me know how it is.